The Paladin has always been a hugely popular class within World of Warcraft, and with so many legendary figures to establish their long and storied lore, it's not hard to see why. However, when we got down to the gameplay, Paladins often found themselves being funneled into one playstyle which was accepted: healing. It's always been the Paladin memeing classic. You play the righteous holy warrior who ends up going from one snazzy blue dress in phase 1 as their bis, and ends up replacing it with another equally blue dress come AQ 14. It would be amazing if Blizzard made another blue dress from BFD, by the way. But aside from just healing, protection suffered from a lack of taunt, mana issues, and general itemization problems, whereas Ret kind of just stood there and auto-attacked, something which they've become very familiar with since they started their journey at level 1, and come late game that doesn't quite cut it anymore. So in Season of Discovery, the Paladin is a class that is very much in a place where it could have a few more new and fun abilities added. And, well, Blizzard have gone all out with the Paladin's toolkit, and given them more than you could have possibly wished for. With all that said, let's take a look at the known Paladin runes up to level 25 in Season of Discovery. And we're starting off with something very interesting, the Seal of Martyrdom. This rune was actually changed up quite significantly during the PTR, in a way which makes this part of the video worth redoing. It used to hit 3 targets for 30% weapon damage, and converted 2% of all damage taken to mana. This made it both attractive to Ret Paladins for the damage, as well as Protection Paladins, as you would have been able to have a bit of cleave while tanking, but also because it restored mana based on all damage taken. This new version has changed quite a bit though. Now it only hits 1 target for 30% weapon damage a swing, but returns 10% of the damage taken from the seal as mana. The Judgment still causes an instant 70% weapon damage, which is obviously very good, and also has the same bonus mana regeneration effect. The damage from both parts of this seal should be able to crit as well, so it will still be pretty good damage, but on single target, it's going to be competing now with Seal of Command, and there is also another rune on your chest that will now easily outpace this on AoE. I think whether this is taken really depends on how it compares with Seal of Command, because to be honest, it's not going to be restoring a ton of mana, because it's only damage received from the seal now, not all damage. There is also the odd chance that we could be getting seal twisting in Season of Discovery as well. Seal twisting was something which was popularized during TBC for Retribution Paladins, and it involved changing between Seal of Command and Seal of Blood just as a melee swing landed, which would give you a chance to proc both on hit effects from your seals at the same time. I played a Ret for a good portion of TBC, and I really liked this mechanic. I thought it added a lot to Ret's gameplay, so I'd be down to see this make a return. However, I do find that people either really love or hate this mechanic, but when everything lines up with Wind Fury procs and you hit about 6 times in one global, it just feels good to pull off. I'd take it over how Ret plays in Wrath any day, but that is just me. Anyways, speaking of Wrath, here's our next chest rune, Divine Storm. Instantly hit 4 nearby targets for high damage, and then heal 3 party or raid members. And suddenly no Ret wants to take Seal of the Martyr anymore. We all already know how good this ability is, and AoE was a weak point for Ret Paladins. I mean, to be fair, the whole spec was a bit of a weak point in PvE. But anyway, you get Divine Storm if you want to take it. In my opinion, this ability is a bit on the powerful side for vanilla, and just feels as though it's better Whirlwind. But hey, it's a seasonal server. We'll see how it goes. Next is Horn of Lordaeron, the first of several abilities that will have Shaman players saying, hey, that looks familiar. So it's basically what Strength of Earth Totem became since TBC, or what Horn of Winter does in Wrath of the Lich King. In vanilla terms, it's Strength of Earth and Grace of Air on one button. However, it is exclusive with Blessing of Might. Saying that, this is just better Blessing of Might. Primary stat scale with Kings and World buffs much better, and Might is only melee attack power in vanilla, so hunters could not benefit from it. Expect your Holy Paladins to be rolling with this rune for your chest. Last but not least, for the chest we have Aegis. So this one is a bit strange. I almost wish they just went and changed the readout talent instead, but no other talents have changed in Season of Discovery, so it would have been a bit strange. If we get readout and Aegis side by side though, you can see the difference is Aegis increases block value by 30%, and makes it so melee and ranged attacks have a 10% chance to increase block chance by 30% for 10 seconds or for 5 blocks. whereas with Redoubt you need to receive a critical strike in order to get that block chance bonus. Now, Protection Paladins and Warriors are the two tanks who don't get crit immunity from boss level monsters in their new runes in Season of Discovery, so the plate wielding tanks still may have to factor this into their gearing on the harder hitting content. I guess this rune is looking a bit more long term for the game mode, or maybe there is newer gear that has a bunch of defense on and you can still get crit immune quite easily. Oh, and also 30% block value is a pretty big chunk. Assuming there are some solid sources of block value to scale with on new items, Paladin dungeon grinding or boosting should very much be on the menu. On to our leg runes next, and we have some absolute bangers to cover here. First is without a single doubt the best raid-wide cooldown from Wrath of the Lich King, Divine Sacrifice. However, it's been modified for vanilla, so let's check it out. 30% of damage taken by party members within 30 yards is redirected to the Paladin for 10 seconds. If the Paladin goes below 20% health, this effect will break, and the Paladin will gain 10% increased damage and healing for 10 seconds. Okay, so that is not bad. In Wrath, it's notable that this ability gives the Paladin two different buffs, one for the damage reduction and another for the damage transfer. You have to create a macro to cancel the damage transfer, as in Wrath of the Lich King, this buff is raid-wide. So if you don't have bubble, the damage transfer basically just one-shots you. If this is one buff, you better be real careful about pressing this ability if your party is about to take heavy damage. Then again, if you're able to break it under the 20% health margin, you get a bit of bonus damage and some extra healing for a little bit. It seems a bit risky and nowhere near as powerful as the Wrath version, as this is party only. Great for PvP though, as it's both a damage reduction effect and protection from long duration CC as well. Next we have, well, Tremor Totem to be honest, but for Paladins. Why is the Paladin version always better, it seems? But just as Tremor Totem does, Inspiration Exemplar occasionally removes fear and sleep effects on party members, but instead of it being a physical item like a totem, it's just an aura around the Paladin. Again, for PvP, you can kill a Tremor Totem, then fear a Shaman real quick, but you can't turn this aura off. So certain CC effects will just be ineffective against Paladins who take this. I will say there is one big difference between this and Tremor Totem actually, and that's Tremor also removes charm effects, and despite charm effects being quite uncommon, that is a bonus for the Horde version. Up next is a big ability for Protection Paladins. It's a snap aggro tool, something to pull from range, and just a cool looking ability. Avenger's Shield. It seems from what I could find online, we're also getting an instant cast version of it too. I was thinking at the start this would be the TBC one, which for some reason had a cast time, which made it completely unusable during combat because when you're getting hit by enemies, you get spell knockback and you can't dodge, block or parry, so that was no good. But assuming it is instant, this is big for prot Paladins. In vanilla, they desperately needed something or just anything to be able to pull from more than 10 yards away. Just watch out with this ability, sometimes it doesn't always bounce where you expect it to. It's a lot easier to chain pull than you would think, that's all I'm gonna say. Next is another one for the Ret enjoys, and that is Exorcist. Now Exorcism can be cast on any target and has a 100% crit chance versus undead or demons, which is okay. Exorcism is pretty mana heavy for the amount of damage that it causes. Guaranteeing a crit though perhaps makes this worth it, but as far as we know it doesn't scale with attack power effects. Still, as a Ret, you'll either take this or the following rune I'll talk about. Off topic here, but I hope later on one of the runes makes Hammer of Wrath usable in Season of Discovery. It's always been such a fun spell, but it's just so bad in vanilla it's unreal. There would have been no point putting a rune in for it yet though, because you don't get it to level 44. But next up we have Rebuke, and Retribution just got an interrupt. How about that? It appears to be a 10-second cooldown, 2-second lockout. This ability was from Kata originally, but is now an option for Rets in vanilla. Depending on how much mana you go through as a Ret, this will be a strong consideration for your glove runes that we know at the moment. Also, this is such a mind game in PvP, not knowing whether or not the other guy has an interrupt, and do you need to fake cast or not. I wonder if add-ons will be able to read which runes you have in advance. Just a thought. And finally, we have our glove runes. We'll start with one of the most powerful talents from Wrath of the Lich King's Holy Paladin, Beacon of Light. places a beacon on the target that copies all healing done to that target. This essentially straight up doubles your healing potential. Similar to Wrath, I imagine this thing will be on the main tank and will allow you to spread your heals across the raid a little more evenly rather than just always focusing on that one target. Very powerful rune for Holy Paladins though. They were already so good in vanilla, this is really pushing their power level. Next for retribution is Crusader Strike. Originally introduced in the Burning Crusade, this was the button that freed you from just auto attacking, and now it has an upside in that it regenerates a small bit of your max mana as well. This was the very first rune teased at BlizzCon, and as far as I know you'll be getting this at level 2. This is probably the only rune in the game I can say that for, but it's an ability, we all know what it does. It's just a simple instant attack and a button to feel good about pressing when it comes up. And our final Paladin rune is Hand of Reckoning. It's taunt for a Paladin in vanilla. Only took 19 years. Better late than never though, right? Also, while you have this rune, Righteous Fury threat is increased to 80%. You gain mana equal to 25% of the amount you receive as healing from others, and when below 35% health, you take 20% less damage. So if you add improved Righteous Fury on from your talents, Protection Paladins are going to be doing a bonus 130% holy damage threat. Yeah, so I'm thinking prot AoE is going to be pretty good in Season of Discovery. Turning healing received from allies into mana is the fix that was implemented in TBC, and it now means that prot paladins are able to focus on spell power for threat, and defense, stamina, and so on for tankiness. This really is everything your protection paladin needs to succeed in vanilla. What is also worth a mention here is the protection tanking meta that did exist in Classic during 2019 and beyond. Basically, players found out you could spam Greater Blessing of Kings, and it would generate enough threat even to be able to main tank. The Greater Blessing of Kings spam just got a very big buff here, both from its holy threat modifier and the fact that protection essentially has infinite mana now if they are taking damage. Saying that, Greater Blessing of Kings is a level 60 spell, and we don't have any Greater Blessings at all until level 52 with Might and Wisdom at 54. But I'm just saying this could be a thing, and you should expect people to experiment with it when we get to the 50 bracket in Season of Discovery. Anyways, let's cover some closing thoughts on the state of Paladin in Season of Discovery so far. So yeah, this class is insane, that is the summary. Rhett got Divine Storm and Crusader Strike on top of having Seal of Command proccing for extra damage, and depending on their mana bar, which hopefully won't run out, they should be doing much better as a whole. Holy got some of the most powerful abilities from Wrath of the Lich King. They were already in a great spot, and they just got so much better. You won't see the full extent of Holy's output to level 40 because they're missing some talents, such as Illumination. Nevertheless, if it's a playstyle you enjoy, it's been improved for sure. Protection seems as though it's the biggest winner for me. Mana problems have been solved, you have a way to pull from range, you have a taunt, you have better threat generation. It just ticks all of the boxes. You do still have to invest 11 points into the Holy Tree to get Consecration in vanilla. It's not a baseline ability, but that's something you'll be more than happy to do. I'm expecting to see a metric ton of players on the Retribution Paladin though. It's one of those specs in the game that when it's even moderately good, it's overplayed. I also hope to see plenty of people trying out the new Protection Paladin. Mixing an actual protection tank that works with vanilla itemization should be interesting to see how you can max out either mitigation stats or spell power for threat. Holy Paladin remains very good, and healer mains will definitely be wanted both for their throughput and the new utility spells in Season of Discovery. But those are just my thoughts on the runes we have for the Paladin in Season of Discovery so far. What do you think of them at this early stage, and are there any spell or ability interactions you're looking forwards to trying out? Let me know below. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in, and I'll see you all in the next one very soon.